ensure that we, our children's children, and generations thereon will be paying this debt, working long and hard. Government must have the consent of the governed. We are not a fringe group or a sour minority or extremists. We're here because we can see. We can see the things that the mainstream media and our government would rather that we didn't see. We can see the signs that our government would rob us of our freedom of speech, religion, and the right to bear arms. And our free market system that is the envy of the entire world. And we are not content because we can see. We cannot remain the silent majority and have them tell us, pay the bills and mind your own business. We must stand up and tell it like it is. Or we will lose our freedom to a tyrannical government. Despite their smooth words, they can oppress us, socially, economically, and politically. Left alone, the government could destroy this great nation. And we must act now, before it's too late. We must rise up, be heard in Harrisburg and Washington, wherever they look down on us. We, the people, every generation, must stand and take our... We must stake our claim to freedom now. Let your voice be heard. Each of you, I ask that you call your representatives, you call your congressmen, because freedom is something that's really worth fighting for. There's nothing more valuable than it. And I just ask you to please tell them to repeal the stimulus. Now, I'm thrilled to be able to introduce to you a man who spent 40-plus years in broadcasting. Since 2004, he and his partner, Rose Tennant, have anchored America's morning show from 6 to 10 a.m. on talk station 104.7 FM here in Pittsburgh. Their show has grown nationally. Now people can be quinoculated and resuscitated across the nation on many affiliates and XM satellite radio. The Quinn and Rose Show is based on a quick start guide, which consists of a series of laws. The first being Quinn's Law, which is liberalism always generates the opposite of its stated intent. We are thrilled he's here today to be with us. I now introduce our Master of Ceremonies, Jim Quinn.
Thank you. Okay, we got a lot of work to do here. In the words of the late Rodney Dangerfield, hey, what a crowd. Well, I see the rain didn't cancel the revolution. Did you ever ask yourself, you know, you hear all the time from people that say that historians recognize that the Constitution of the United States is the greatest political document ever conceived by man. Did you ever ask yourself if it's so good, why isn't anybody else doing it? I mean, if I'm in another country and I'm looking at the USA and I'm going, geez, I'd like to be like that. What is it that what did they do? Oh, Constitution? Oh, no, we can't do that. You see, because in order for any other country to adopt our Constitution, their government would have to give up huge amounts of power, and they won't do it. There's no excuse for poverty on this planet. We've solved it. Here, it's called capitalism. We keep giving money to third world dictatorships. We keep exporting food to Somalia and to Kenya and all these, but what we're doing is enabling tyrants. We're enabling these people to keep oppressing their people. Free people are not hungry. Free people work for themselves. And when I am forced to work for the benefit of another man, then I am a slave. And well, it's April 15th, and since the 1st of January, I've been working for somebody else, and I want reparations. All right, I prepared a couple of remarks, so you'll have to pardon me if I refer to my teleprompter. This marks the beginning, not of a revolution, but it marks the beginning of an awakening. For the past 100 years, we have been lulled to sleep by empty promises of more for less. And in doing so, we have empowered government and their promises, and we've crippled our own spirit. Well, that spirit will rise from the grave today. The Constitution of the United States is a fully sufficient document for this republic. And since Woodrow Wilson, 100 years ago, we have been led to believe that it is insufficient. The progressive academics who knew so much more than our founders did set about to improve America. So let us examine some of their improvements. The Federal Reserve Bank. Now, you know that look, some of you people understand this, but your average American has no idea what you're talking about when you talk to them about this, and there's a reason for it. As political discourse, the question of whether or not we should have a central bank has been removed from our political discourse since 1913. Before 1913, go to the Carnegie Library, go through the Fishes, go through all the old newspapers, and you will find letters to the editor, you'll find opinion pieces. It was mainstream political discourse to discuss the wisdom of a central bank versus not a central bank. Now, it's not even taught in our schools. As a matter of fact, what were you taught about Woodrow Wilson? I was taught that Woodrow Wilson tried to get us into the League of Nations, but oh, horrible, he didn't manage to do it. But my weekly reader in the 1950s every week told me how wonderful the UN was. By instituting the Federal Reserve Bank, we have instituted a system of fiat money. Money that is not backed by wealth already earned on deposit somewhere, but backed only by the promise that future generations will labor in servitude to the owners of that money to pay that money back, even though it can never be paid back. And then there's the income tax. The progressives gave us that. Well, they had to do that because that's the mechanism that ensures that future generations will labor to produce the wealth to pay the money back to the bank that can never be paid back. They also gave us the Great Depression and the government interventions that ensured its longevity. The public school system, they gave us that too. The public school system that gives us a population that does not understand the moral superiority of liberty and private property ownership and thinks that socialism is compassion. The progressives gave us the Great Society programs that have cost America $7.2 trillion, destroyed the black family, produced cultural, economic, and societal collapse for millions of its victims. And most recently, the Community Reinvestment Act, the ultimate free lunch, the ultimate empty promise, offered in exchange for votes, of course, the big lie. Government can make anything more affordable than the market. Here's a perfect example, ladies and gentlemen, here's a perfect example of the political left. Okay? I didn't come here to be particularly partisan, but it's interesting. They use their freedom of speech to silence yours. That's not freedom.
Go back to the solo.
The fallacy of the CRA has brought our globe to the point of economic collapse, and the people who did it blame capitalism when they should be blaming themselves, Barney Frank. But blaming capitalism is nothing new. They did the same thing back during